right, welcome back to this series. It's time to go ahead and get ready to heat treat. And what we're going to do is get it on up to about 1550 degrees. Then we're going to quench it in some AAA oil. I'll talk to you later on about some stuff about how certain oils will work for certain things, certain oils will not work. We've been taught years and years and years that it will work. Yes, somebody got it to work. I've got it to work, but it wasn't consistent. So, before we get crowded out into all of this stuff here, we're gonna jump over here and start showing you what we're gonna do to prepare it for heat treating. Stick around. Welcome back. We just moved the camera just a little bit. Stepped on the dog then. He's gotten older and he must be in the room with Paul. Ain't that right, Ace? Anyway, we're going to start this off by telling you what we're going to use. I started using this product about 1.5 years ago. I do it on everything. I used to do foil. I quit doing foil. One, I got tired of cutting my finger. Two is it's just such a long, hard process. And some things you don't have to quench in plates and stuff, and then trying to get them out of the package, get them down in it. It just never did work out quite well for me. So I went on a search and I asked Joey down at Pops, what would he recommend? He says this. And it's called Nuclear Systems, No Scale 2000. Basically, it goes up to 2000 degrees and you don't have to worry about scale being all over your knife. If you don't know what scale is, maybe I'll find you a picture of one that has some scale on it and try to put it somewhere in there, but I doubt I'll be able to remember doing that. But anyway, this is what it is. You can get it at Pops. I'm sure you can get it other places too. I'm not sure, but so much for that. We're going to be wiping this stuff on. But before we do that, we want to take our blades. Now there's 4 of them over here since the last time you watched, just a few minutes later. And we're going to clean them off. Now, normally I will have gloves on, but I'm going to tell you what happened. I run out of them yesterday and I had to order some more. So you don't want any of the oils on you to get on the knives as well. So we're going to wipe them off, just basically clean them up. And this is a solution of hydrogen peroxide, healthcare hydrogen peroxide wipes. Set them down, wipe them off again. All we're really trying to do is get any kind of goo or anything like that may be on them. We're wiping them down. My hand's got probably more on it than anything. But when I go back to the next step, it'll be a little easier to see what I'm doing. But we've got it. We're just hitting it. And you can see how much stuff is on it that you don't even realize is on it. I mean, you know, that's potential scale where it turns the nuclear loose. All right, we've got them moved up off the table. Washed my hands up as best that I could so that we don't get as much of my own oils and grease and things on me. Back to the acetone. I probably go through entirely too much of this a lot of times, but I really like it. And I stand behind it, gets off stuff that you don't know. That's me. But now you notice I'm not doing both sides at once. No need for it right now, although it's a waste of that. But whatever's on the bottom of that would be on this. This is the nuclear. It's an easy process. I made me a little applicator cap off so I don't get it all over my fingers as much as I normally would. It's not messy. Crap. Guess what? My floor is ready to be heat treated. But anyway. So, either we edited that out or we left it in. The glory of being a YouTube. Wipe it on. Now, you can sit here and wait for that to dry. Takes about 15 minutes, depends on how hot it is. That's not what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you what I do. A heat gun. Took me about a minute to get this out. As you can see, it's starting to dry there, but watch this. And it's gonna be loud, so turn your volume down now, or I'll try to turn it down for you if I edit it. And there you go. Now we're going to put one more coat on it. I like two. It says you only need one, is what I've heard, but I generally put two. We're going to flip it over, do two on the other side, get our spines, and then we're taking it to the oven. So the process is get it good and clean as you can get it, and hopefully you got some gloves, and get it cleaned up. And then put your second coat on if you do it the way I do, or do it the way they recommend. Once that's done, then you're going to flip it over, do the other side, and then it's ready to go into the oven. All right, we're ready to bring those knives to put them over here into the Paragon. This is the first oven that I bought. I had a gentleman that told me, William Collins, I was searching. I was one with an even heat, and he told me his first one was this particular one right here. And that's what he went with. And I thought, well, if he's done it and he's been pretty successful, then I should go ahead and try that too. I was on a budget. You can buy these here. I think I got it at USA Knife Makers. You may can find them cheaper than that. It's the, I don't know even what model it is, but it's, I mean, it does 4. And that's what I want to talk to you about. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get up to 6 in it and be okay with certain steels. I recommend doing 4 at a time with this model. And the reason for it is you can get difference all the way up. The other difference is, start doing a bunch of them that require quenching, you need more buckets, more oil. Because once you get that temperature up to a certain temperature by quenching them down in it, that temperature is rising. So it's no longer a low to cool them quick. So you want to keep that in mind when you're doing it. Big enough container as well that'll do what you do. That's an experiment for you. you'll have to test that for you. But what I do want to tell you is, when you're doing your heat treating, for anybody that doesn't know, there's going to be some people come in here and tell me, oh yeah, we already know all that, you know. This is for the guy that doesn't know yet, and he's wondering, or the girl that doesn't know it yet. They're wondering, how do you get these formulas? Well, a lot of it starts out, you just go and find it. Like I did, I think I went to several forums and asked around. Didn't get much answers. They would refer me back, and then I would read it and I would see it. Well, over time, when you start testing them, you realize it didn't do so good for where you're at. So you're going to have to play around with those numbers. So when I finally get one in the same type, and there's like 3 different climates that I get, or humidities and temperatures around, so you have to play with that. You have to learn it, know it. It takes time. When you're making knives in the beginning, trying to get some money back, don't market it as a big professional seller. Don't say, oh, this is the greatest knife that ever walked. Market at a fair value to get your money back. Don't worry about your income time when you're starting out. Worry about getting better equipment as you move up. Don't price it at what somebody that's been making a knife for 25 years is doing, and then get lucky for a while, and then all of a sudden something comes back and fights you. So enough with that rambling on. This temperature for 8670 is 1550 to 1575. I have found in the summer 1550 does fine. Later towards winter, I moved it up to about 1570, 1575. I'm guessing at that point. Praying, hoping it's going to be what I need it to be. I know that in the wintertime, this can fluctuate a little bit. When the shop out here can do 29 degrees, that's putting a lot of heat and stress and a lot of work on this thing here. So I moved it on up to where I can fall down to that normal. In the summertime, when it's very hot, up to 90 degrees to 110 sometimes in here, we've got some wiggle room. It's not going to have to maintain as hard to keep that temperature there. So what we're going to do is put these 4 knives in here at 1550. Now when we quench that, it's going to put a big old hardness on it. I mean, that sucker is going to be brittle. Drop it on concrete, you might have 15 pieces of knives. That's because everything has sped up and been cooled down, and it's just like brittle. I don't know how else to explain it. There's other videos out there. But the higher the temperature you raise it up to, say if you wanted a buck knife, around 52, 55, you know, not a very high. You want that temperature to be brought way down to where it's doing it at 400, 300, or not 400, no, you only be about 300, maybe 325. But when you raise that number up, that's closer to the temperature that it hardened at. So the knife is still going to be with a more edge retention, as some calls it. It's not got a chance to spread out and even out as much, and it's just still tight, you know, but it's been loosened up some. So what I do is, I don't like a knife at 61, 62. That's just my personal preference. A lot of people do. 58 to 60 to me is the common man, common woman understanding of a knife. More people go out into the woods with less experience, or go hunting with less experience than that guy that wants it at 62. When he gets it at 62, it holds an edge for a long time, and it becomes a box toy. You throw it away because you can't figure out how to get another edge back on it. You start reprofiling it before long. It's just, you can't do nothing. 58, 60, you can still do it. So what we're going to do is, this one right here, when they go in, we're going to put them in at 1550. We will quench them. So when we put this one in, we're going to do it at 375. And what that's going to do is put me at about 57, 59. I may move them to 400. Now, with this oven, we just turn it on. Notice everything is up here. That is not where you're going to want it. You're going to want that in the center, and you'll push it in once you get it set. Slide your knives in here, slide them back. That way you get an even temperature all the way around the oven. If you pull it all the way back to the back, one side may be better. So we'll take this, and it's got a little start button here, and it says idle. Once it comes up off of idle, you can hit speed. I want it to go pretty fast, so I hit it again. So 4 will be fine. The temperature is at 383 because that's what I tempered the last batch that I did of some Ramblers. But that was the tempering of it. We need to bring that thing up to 1550. And it's just, you hold the button down. Now, you can program it, but I've done so many different styles of knives, I've run out of programs, and I just got tired of it, and I said, you know, it takes a minute. So we're going to put this thing at 1550. Now this thing will heat up pretty quick. Take about 40, 45 minutes to get up to the temperature so I can quench it. So we got 1550. So we'll hit the start button. The whole time, we want not 2 hours and 10 minutes because that'll just have that thing whacked out. We're going to have to bring that down to 5 minutes. And you can do 5 to 7. I found that 5 minutes at that temperature will be just great. So now once I hit this button here, it says start. Now I got a delay. I don't want this thing to come on because I got to go to the grocery store. I don't want it to come on for a little bit. 20 minutes. See how I can have some buy time? And then I'm going to go ahead and hit start. I'm going to open this up and bring the knives over. Alright, what I have found is by placing them this way inside, I'm sure to get the edge is what I need to be hard. It's going to be flimsy. Not so much with a flat grind, but it doesn't have to be as hard as that edge. I want that edge to really get it. By laying it down, the spine's going to get more temperature because of it. So we just slide them in, just like so. And once they're in there, it's not even kicked on yet. I'm going to slide this thing right to the middle. Hello, birdie. So, in 19 minutes, this thing's going to kick on, and I better be back. We'll be in trouble if I'm not. All right, we have to preheat the oil. I used to stick a piece of metal in there and pull it out of the oven, preheat the oil. I learned quickly that was putting more oxygen, more air into it. I'm getting a lot of scale. So what I do now, if I can get this to light with that fan. Alright, so we're heating it up. I'll have to go get me a new map gas. So once we have it heated up, we're going to place it into the oil. So we have it at about 205, but I like to get it to about 275. So I'm going to do it some more. Temperature's getting so low. let's put it over in the tank. We're gonna stick this down in here, and that's gonna help heat that water up, or not water, that AAA. You can see, I don't know if you can from there or not, but it's starting to heat up and around it. So what I'll do is, about 125 is what I want it at. And we're right there at 115, 116, 17, about 118. And we're at 1532, so it'll be about where I want it to be at. For me, it's going to be hard to get that and over to here on video, so you'll just see me putting them into the Quench. So hold tight. And I want to get my tips and everything else going. You see that smoke? If we raise that up, poof, it gets hot. Oxygen, heat, poof, makes the little fire that you see a lot of times. We want to keep it down in there. Try not to swing your knife in and out of your oil, because it will warp it. I've seen it done, and I've done it, especially with longer blades when you put them in the bigger tank. You can see the bubble. You can't see it as much, but you'll see that heat, just like a heat wave that you can see sometimes on the horizon. You know, you see that heat coming around, and you'll see that in your oil. When it's gone, you can take it on out. It means that it's already lower than the oil itself, pretty much. Nice. So let's grab the other one. I'm going to do it, and then I'll be right back. It's a process I need to hurry up and get done.